Hello students, in last class we already discussed about how a current carrying coil experiences a torque due to an external magnetic field and what is its value. Clear? And today we are going to discuss about a important application of this principle, that is a very important instrument that we are using in a large number of experiments during the previous chapter, that is current electricity, that is known as moving coil galvanometer. So previously, going to moving coil galvanometer, we already discussed in previous class that the torque acting on a current carrying coil in an external magnetic field is given by B I N A sin alpha, or it can also be written as B I N A cos theta, where here alpha equal to angle between area vector and magnetic field strength vector. Here theta equal to angle between plane of the loop and magnetic field strength, or in vector form the torque can be written as M cross B, where M is what? The magnetic dipole moment of a current carrying loop, that is N into I into A, current flowing through the loop, and this is the cross sectional area, and N is the number of turns of the loop. Clear? So by applying this concept that when a current carrying loop is present in an external magnetic field, it experiences a torque due to which it starts rotating. By this principle, the moving coil galvanometer is constructed. Clear? So now discuss what is moving coil galvanometer. So what is moving coil galvanometer? Or it is in short known as MCG, moving coil galvanometer. Okay, as the name shows, moving coil, that means there is a coil which is moves, and galvanometer is an instrument which is used to measure a very small amount of current flowing through an electrical circuit. Clear? And basically the moving coil galvanometer or the galvanometer is a fundamental component of a large number of electrical instruments like ammeter and voltmeter. Clear? So first of all discuss what is moving coil galvanometer. It is an instrument which is used to measure very small amount of current passing through an electrical circuit. Okay, so it is an instrument which is used to measure very small amount of current passing through an electrical circuit. It is the basic component. Of ammeter and voltmeter. Ammeter and voltmeter are also basically one type of galvanometer. Clear? So what is the principle of moving coil galvanometer? It is based upon the principle that when a current carrying loop is pressed in an external uniform magnetic field, it will experience a torque due to which it starts rotating. Clear? Based upon this principle, the moving coil galvanometer is constructed. Okay, so we already know what is a galvanometer and by which principle the moving coil galvanometer is constructed. So now let us draw the constructive diagram of a moving coil galvanometer. So in a moving coil galvanometer, the simplest constructive diagram will be like this. Here is a T head, there are two terminals along both sides, and within this chamber, this is isolated chamber which is clamped on a wooden base or a metallic base. Within this chamber there are two cylindrical concave strong permanent magnets. Let it be north pole, it will be south pole. Okay. And within this there is a coil which is wrapped in a frame and the other end is connected with a spring, and the spring through the terminal, let it be T1, and this end is connected to the other terminal T2. Clear? And within this rectangular current carrying coil there is a soft iron core above which the coil is wrapped in a frame. Okay, so this is known as T head, from which the coil, rectangular coil which is wrapped over a frame on having a soft iron core. This red cylindrical portion is a soft iron core. This is soft iron core. This is known as hair spring. Okay, and this known as the coil, rectangular coil. And this connecting wire is a wire of phosphor, bronze wire, and these are two terminals of the galvanometer, terminal 1 and terminal 2, and these two are strong cylindrical permanent magnets. Okay, So this is the diagram of a moving coil galvanometer. Okay, these are two terminals T1 and T2. This is a soft cylindrical iron core on which a large number of rectangular coil of large number of turns is wrapped through a frame. The one end of this coil is connected to the terminal 1 through a hairspring, and the other end of this coil is connected to the terminal 2. Clear? So by connecting these two terminal T1 and T2 with the external electrical circuit, we allow the current to flow through this coil. Clear? When the total system, and here from this T head it will be connected with a pointer which can move on a calibrated scale like this. From this head there will be a pointer which can calibrated moving over a calibrated scale, and by this the current amount, when we connected these two terminals T1 and T2 in an external current carrying circuit, the current starts to flow through this coil, and when current flow through this coil, due to the external magnetic field produced by these strong cylindrical magnets, the coil starts to rotating because it will experience a torque, and due to rotation of the coil the hairspring get twisted, and when the hairspring get twisted, a restoring torque is produced within this hairpin. Due to this restoring torque, gradually when the current starts flowing, the torque acting on the rectangular coil starts increasing, and due to this deflecting torque which is produced by the current increases the restoring torque produced in the hairspring, and there will be a particular instant at which the restoring torque in the hairspring will become equal with the deflecting torque produced by the current in the rectangular loop, and at that instant the coil comes to an equilibrium position. Okay, and the deflection by the pointer will be maximum. Clear? So this is the constructional diagram for a moving coil galvanometer, where it's a T-shaped head, and from this there will be a pointer attached which can move over a calibrated scale, from which the deflection is able to show us the amount of current flowing through the circuit. And there are two permanent cylindrical magnets. Why we are using cylindrical magnets? Because these cylindrical magnets are able to produce radial magnetic field. Why radial magnetic field is necessary, I will tell you right now. But for this figure, there are two cylindrical permanent strong magnets within which a soft cylindrical iron core is present, on which a large number of coil in form of rectangular form is wrapped through a frame. One end of the coil is attached with the terminal T2, and the other end of the coil is attached to the terminal T1 through a hair spring. Clear? This is the construction. So why we are using cylindrical concave shaped strong magnet? So let's see. Due to cylindrical concave shaped magnet, if we see the top view from this side, it will look like this. There is two permanent magnets, north and south, and within it there is a cylindrical core, okay, on which the coil is wrapped on a frame. If this is a frame, this is the top view. I am showing from this top. This is the core on which the coils are wrapped with large number of turns like this. Okay, these are the large number of turns on this complete is a cylindrical core on which there is a large number of turns of the rectangular coil. Clear? And as we know, the lines of magnetic fields goes always from north to south. So due to this concave shape of the magnetic poles, the lines of force, or sorry, field lines of magnetic field strength goes shown like this. Okay, they are always seems as if they are going radial. If this is the center, the lines of force are always seems like they comes through the radius. Like this. Okay, but in reality the lines of force never intersect. The field lines can never intersect, but from outside it seems like that the field lines are come along the radius of the cylindrical core, but in real the field lines within the cylindrical core goes like this. Okay, the field lines within the cylindrical core goes like this. But from out of the cylinder, they are seems as if they are just like, if this is the core, the field lines are seems, this is the center, field lines are seems as they are along the radius of the core. Okay, so as shown here, as the magnetic field lines are shown from the outside of the cylindrical core, that they are radially acting along the radius of the cylindrical core. So due to produce this radial magnetic field, the cylindrical shaped magnetic poles are used. What is the benefit of this radial magnetic field? As the magnetic field lines are always along the radius of the cylindrical core, so whenever when the current carrying coil is placed over this cylindrical core like this, the magnetic fields are at this position. It is always parallel to the plane of the rectangular coil. If due to torque, the coil change its position along this direction, like this. Then also at this position, the magnetic field lines are along the plane of the rectangular coil. So at each and every position, as the field lines are always acting along the radius of the cylindrical core, so for each and every position of the rectangular coil, the magnetic field lines are always along its length. That means the angle between the plane of the rectangular coil and magnetic field lines is 0, or the angle between the area vector of the coil, which is perpendicular to the plane, and the field lines are always 90. That means the torque which is acting on the rectangular coil due to the flow of current and the effect of external magnetic field is independent of the angle between the current carrying coil, area vector, and the direction of magnetic field strength. As at each and every position, the angle between the area vector of the coil and magnetic field strength is 90. So the torque acting on the current carrying loop will become constant for each and every position. That's why we are using a radial magnetic field, which makes the torque independent of the angle between the area vector and the magnetic field direction. Here, this is a important point for which we are using what? Radial magnetic field. Okay, why radial magnetic field is used? So radial magnetic field is used to make the torque constant at each and every position. Clear? So radial magnetic field is used to make the torque acting on the current carrying loop constant. or the torque is independent of the angle between the direction of area vector and the magnetic field strength. Clear? Then what is the benefit of using phosphor bronze wire as connecting wire in this moving coil galvanometer? So phosphor bronze wire are used because they have high tensile strength, low torsional constant, and they are not affected by the magnetic field, and they have very less amount of thermal coefficient for resistance. That's why we are using phosphor bronze wire, which are highly conducting material for the flow of electric current, and their temperature does not rise very largely by passing of the electric current. They have very less amount of thermal coefficient of resistance. Then they are not affected by the magnetic field, and they have very less amount of torsional constant, and they have very strong tensile strength. That's why we are using phosphor bronze wire for the connection of this circuit. Clear? So this is how we construct a moving coil galvanometer in which radial magnetic field are used to make the torque constant or independent of the theta or angle between area vector and magnetic field strength, and phosphor bronze wire is used. That's why it don't get affected by the magnetic field or any of the surrounding effects. Clear? Now we have to discuss what is the working of this moving coil galvanometer. And what about this spring, hair spring? So hair spring is a spiral spring. You generally found it inside the toys which have keys. The toys which are operated through a keys. Once you tied the keys and placed it somewhere, it will operate, and after some time you have to again tie the keys. So inside that kind of toys you find this type of hair spring which are just spiral like springs. Once you tighten it, it will restore some torque, then it will release itself or restore itself again to its initial position. Again you have to tighten it to make some work. These type of springs are used here, which are known as hair springs. Clear? So what is the working of this moving coil galvanometer? So when current flowing through a coil, we know it will experience a torque. What is the value of torque? Here, if current is flowing through this terminal T1 and T2, so the current will flow like this. And it comes along this. So current of this along the circuit will goes like this. And due to current flowing through this coil, as it is placed in an external magnetic field, it will experience a torque. What is torque? Torque equal to B-I-N-A sin alpha. Here B is the magnetic field strength, I is the current flowing through the coil, N is the number of turn, and A is the cross sectional area of the coil, and sin alpha, it is the angle, alpha is the angle between area vector and magnetic field strength. As here we are using a radial magnetic field, so this alpha become constant, which is always 90. So the torque or the deflecting torque, this is determined as deflecting torque, due to which the coil gets deflected. The deflecting torque value will be how much? B-I-N-A. Sin alpha is always 1. So this is the value of deflecting torque at each and every position of the rectangular coil, as it is independent of theta or alpha. Clear? And as the coil starts rotating, this hair spring gets twisted. Okay, as the coil starts rotating, this hair spring gets twisted, and due to the twist inside the hair spring, it starts to regain some restoring torque. What is the value of restoring torque? The restoring torque will be equal to the torsional constant into the angular twist along the coil. So when the hair spring get twisted, as if the coil rotate like this, there at the base the hair spring will connected like this, and from the above here is the coil, and the coil starts rotating like this. So the hair spring will start twisted, and due to the twist of the hair spring, it will gain some restoring torque, which is equal to C theta. And as gradually the current increases, because in this case deflecting torque B is constant, we can't able to change B because the magnets are fixed. Number of turns of the coil is constant. When the manufacturer make the galvanometer, the number of turns of the coil is constant and the cross sectional area of the coil are also constant. Here one thing varies, that is I, and due to vary of this current the deflecting torque varies, and as the deflecting torque varies, the twist inside the hairspring also get increased, and at a particular instant as theta, the twist, angular twist increases, the restoring torque also gets increased because the torsional constant of the hairspring is constant. So as I increases, deflecting torque increases. As deflecting torque increases, the angular twist of the hairspring increases, and due to which the restoring torque increases. That means if we increase the current, indirectly the restoring torque also increases. So at a particular value of current, the restoring torque comes equal with the deflecting torque, and at that instant the rectangular coil comes to an equilibrium position. That means due to when the current becomes reach to a particular value, so that the restoring torque comes equal with the deflecting torque, at that instant the rectangular coil comes to an equilibrium position. So at that position, in equilibrium case, what we can write, the deflecting torque will be equal to the restoring torque. So this implies what will be deflecting torque, BINA, which will be equal to the restoring torque, that is C theta. So from this we can calculate the current flowing at that time through the galvanometer will be how much, C theta divided by BNA. So this is the amount of current flowing through the galvanometer when the rectangular loop is in equilibrium state. That means the net restoring torque will be equal to the net deflecting torque. From this, C is constant, the torsional constant of the hairspring, which is constant for a galvanometer. The magnetic field strength is also constant, number of turns is also constant, and area of the rectangular loop is also constant. So the complete term C by BNA is a constant. So this expression can be written as the current I flowing through the galvanometer will be equal to some constant G into theta. What is G? Here G is a constant which is known as galvanometer constant. Here let it be equation 4, this is equation 3. Here G is equal to how much? C divided by BNA is known as galvanometer constant, because for a particular galvanometer the value of this much or G is remain fixed or constant. So from this equation 4 we get the current flowing through the galvanometer is directly proportional to the deflection shown by the spring. Okay, clear? And from this, as this rotated, here is a pointer attached to this, it will get deflected. So the deflection will show the amount of current, and due to the deflection the pointer deflects over a calibrated scale, and by the help of that scale we can able to measure the amount of current flowing through the galvanometer or through the circuit in which the galvanometer is connected. Clear? So here this value is known as what? Galvanometer constant, and from this we get the amount of current flowing through the galvanometer is directly proportional to the deflection shown by the pointer. Clear? So what is galvanometer constant? It is denoted by G, and the galvanometer constant is depends upon what? The torsional constant of the hairspring, the magnetic field strength of the permanent magnet used in the galvanometer, the number of turns of the rectangular loop, and the cross sectional area of the loop. Clear? So the galvanometer constant depend upon these four quantities, and these four quantities are constant for a given galvanometer. That's why this is constant for a given galvanometer, and the current is directly proportional to the deflection. Clear? So this is how current is measured by using a moving coil galvanometer. So here we will get what? The galvanometer constant G equal to C divided by BNA, where C equal to torsional of hairspring, B equal to magnetic field strength, N equal to number of turns of the coil, and A equal to cross sectional area of the coil. Okay, so I will be equal to C theta divided by BNA. Clear? This is the value of current flowing through a galvanometer which shows theta amount of deflection. Okay, so what is current sensitivity? So now we have to discuss what is current sensitivity. That means if a galvanometer is able to measure a very less amount of current, then the sensitivity of the galvanometer is more. Or if a galvanometer shows a large amount of deflection by applying a very less amount of current through it, then the sensitivity of the galvanometer towards current is very high. That is known as current sensitivity. So what is current sensitivity? It will be IS. It is defined as deflection shows by the galvanometer for unit current flowing through it. Okay, it is defined as what? The deflection shows by the galvanometer per unit current flowing through it. Clear? So as we know, IS, the current sensitivity is defined as what? The deflection per unit current flowing through it. IS is defined as theta by I. So from this we can write, this implies IS equal to theta divided by, what is the value of I equal to C theta by BNA. So in place of I you can write C theta divided by BNA as I equal to C theta by BNA. Clear? So this implies the current sensitivity IS will equal to how much? Theta into BNA divided by C theta. So this implies the current sensitivity is equal to theta will get cancelled, BNA divided by C. So the current sensitivity of a moving coil galvanometer is depends upon what? Magnetic field strength, number of turns and cross sectional area of the coil, and torsional constant of the spring. Clear? And from this relation we conclude that the current sensitivity of a moving coil galvanometer is directly proportional to the magnetic field strength, number of turns and the cross sectional area. So here you can write the current sensitivity IS is directly proportional to the magnetic field strength. If we increase the magnetic field strength of the galvanometer, the current sensitivity will increase. It also directly proportional to the number of turns of the coil. If the number of turns of the coil increases, the current sensitivity of the galvanometer also increases, and also it's directly proportional to the cross sectional area. and it is inversely proportional to the torsional constant of the spring C. So if we increase these, magnetic field increases, IS increases, number of turns increases, current sensitivity increases, cross sectional area increases, current sensitivity increases. But if C increases, current sensitivity decreases. Clear? So now we have to study another term that is known as voltage sensitivity of a galvanometer. So what is voltage sensitivity of a galvanometer? So similarly as current sensitivity, voltage sensitivity is what? It is defined as deflection shows by a galvanometer per unit potential difference applied across it. Okay, it is defined as the deflection shows by a galvanometer per unit potential difference applied across it. This is known as voltage sensitivity of a galvanometer. So the expression for voltage sensitivity will be what? It is defined as the deflection shows per unit potential difference. So we can write the voltage sensitivity will be equal to the deflection divided by unit potential difference. So this implies the voltage sensitivity is equal to the deflection theta divided what will be the potential difference across the galvanometer. It is because of the coil. So I into R. Clear? What is R? Here R equal to resistance of the rectangular coil. So this can be written as the voltage sensitivity is equal to theta divided by I. In place of I we can write C theta divided by NBA into R. This can simply written as the voltage sensitivity is equal to C theta divided by C theta R into this can simply written as theta divided by C theta R into NBA. Theta theta will get cancelled. So this implies the voltage sensitivity of a galvanometer will be NBA divided by CR. Clear? So from this we can conclude that the voltage sensitivity will increase if N increase, the voltage sensitivity will increase if B increase, the voltage sensitivity will increase if cross sectional area increase, but the voltage sensitivity of the galvanometer will decrease if the torsional constant and resistance of the coil will increase. So from this we can write the voltage sensitivity of a galvanometer is directly proportional to B, N and A, and it is inversely proportional to the resistance of the coil and the torsional constant of the spring. Clear? So this is what known as voltage sensitivity of a moving coil galvanometer and current sensitivity of a moving coil galvanometer. So we already discussed today that what is a moving coil galvanometer, on which principle it is based, what is the construction of a moving coil galvanometer, and how a moving coil galvanometer works based upon the principle, and what are the current sensitivity, voltage sensitivity of a moving coil galvanometer, and what is the galvanometer constant. So why a moving coil galvanometer is used? What is the advantage of a moving coil galvanometer? A moving coil galvanometer is able to measure a very less amount of current flowing through a circuit, and its sensitivity can be changed according to our requirement. Clear? And it's a dead bit type galvanometer. So what is dead bit type galvanometer? to decrease the oscillation of the pointer even after the current is stopped flowing through the galvanometer. It gives us a constant or fixed deflection of the pointer, for which we have to use a metallic frame on which the coil is wrapped, which will create a damping effect. That's why the moving coil galvanometer can become a deadbeat type galvanometer, which will not allow the pointer to oscillate even after the removal of the current. It gives us a perfect deflection. Clear? That these are some advantages of a moving coil galvanometer for which we are using this. Clear? Okay, thank you.
What is galvanometer? Galvanometers is an electromechanical instrument used for detecting and indicating an electric current. It is a sensitive electromagnetic device which can measure low currents even of the order of a few microamperes. Galvanometers works as an actuator by producing a rotary deflection in response to electric current flowing through a coil in a constant magnetic field. Now let's talk about the constructional detail of the permanent magnet moving coil galvanometer. Permanent magnet moving coil galvanometer is made up of a two concave permanent magnet, where magnetic field is directed from north to south, and rectangular coil that has many turns, usually made of thinly insulated or fine copper wire, is wounded on a metallic frame, which is pivoted from both the ends. The coil is free to rotate about a fixed axis. This whole arrangement consists of two phosphor bronze hair-like springs. The first one is connected to a upper pivoted free end of the coil, and second spring is connected to the bottom pivoted free end of the coil. And both of these springs are fixed from the other end by the help of a binding screw. A cylindrical soft iron core is symmetrically positioned inside the coil to improve the strength of the magnetic field and to make the field radial. There is a very important reason for keeping the magnetic field radial, which we will talk about later in this video during the working of a galvanometer. Also, the pointer is mounted on a pivoted coil for measuring the angular deflection in the coil, and two ends of the coil are connected to the two terminals of the galvanometer. Principle of permanent magnet moving coil galvanometer. Permanent magnet moving coil galvanometer works on the principle that current carrying coil placed in a magnetic field experiences a torque. When the current is allowed to pass through the coil, current starts flowing from A to B in the left arm of the coil and from C to D in the right arm of the coil. As we can see in the animation, that in the arm AB, direction of the current is upward, and in the arm CD, direction of the current is downward, while the direction of magnetic field is from north to south for both the arm AB and BC. Therefore, according to the left hand Fleming rule, two couple of forces or torque starts acting on a coil, which will help in rotating of a coil and causes angular deflection of the pointer. At this time, hairspring comes into play and creates counter torque to resist any extra unnecessary deflection or damage of a very sensitive pointer, and always ensures the proper functioning of the galvanometer. Corresponding calibrated scale is provided for converting the angular deflection of a pointer in a microamperes. Now let's try to understand that why this radial magnetic field is needed. Here we have used concave shaped magnets to provide radial magnetic field, but why? Let's explore it. As we all know, equation of the torque in this case is NIAB sin theta, where N represents number of turns, I is the current, and theta is the angle between the magnetic field B and the area vector, which is always normal to the plane of the rectangular coil. It's very clear that sin theta for an angle of 90 degree is always 1. Let's move to the top view and try to analyze it. Now we can see that because of the radial magnetic field, for each and every positions of the coil, magnetic field and the area vector are at right angle, or theta equals 90 degree. Therefore, radial magnetic field provides constant torque irrespective of the rotation of the coil. This makes the deflection directly proportional to the current. Because N, A and B was already constant and now theta also becomes constant, that's why. Now current I is the only variable, which makes it easy to calibrate the instrument for the measuring purpose.